kids are in bed, so it's time for a brew with Lucy.
Megson, hello.
Yeah.
It's so great to see you guys. It's been ages. How are you?
That's been ages. Yeah, we're good, aren't we?
Yeah, we're doing well. It feels like it's been way too long since you were in our house. Actually, over the years, you've recorded a few albums.
Exactly. Well, I was gonna mention that because I'm really excited that you'd choose to have a brew with me today. Not just because you are, epic in your own right, obviously, but because, as you say, we've whiled away many an hour in your home studio, and you've produced you've had a hand in producing all of my solo records. Debs, you've played on them, but yeah, enough about that, because I want to talk about you guys, because it's been an epic, vast, wonderful career so far. First album came out in 2004. Since then, 9 records. Just amazing stuff. Multiple BBC Folk Award nominations, critically acclaimed by every print and digital outlet worth mentioning, and those worth not mentioning, to be honest. Just everyone loves Megson, and me too. So how has lockdown been treating you? What's creativity been like? I see you've been bringing out new music. It's all really exciting.
Yeah, well, we have, yeah, as I say, you've got to do something, haven't you? And well, when we started with the lockdown thing, the first thing we had to do, of course, was to do some homeschooling. Yeah, which of course involved in our house lots of dancing.
Yeah.
So dancing was very important, and people probably know that I'm a fairly good mover anyway. So.
Debs, your face says it all.
People who don't know, we've got a 9-year-old daughter, so we had to do that. A 9-year-old's actually quite a good age to do homeschooling, because you can tell her to do stuff and she'll listen. And actually there's things that we learn about there's grammar. Yeah. I've suddenly learned about grammar, but no. The other thing that's been keeping us busy during lockdown, of course, is
the 2 dogs.
2 dogs just showing their faces there.
Oh, lovely. Oh, I love that you guys have essentially been schooled by your daughter rather than the other way around. That's like really, really cool. So we're going to be having some very, grammatically correct new musical offerings in the coming years then.
Adverbials.
Adverbials. There we go. Do you know what one of those is, Lucy?
No. Educate me.
Still don't know, actually. We did at one point.
Yeah, and then we took off.
Oh my goodness. So yeah, I mean, fitting music in around family is a really it's a balancing act at the very best of times, right? So you've brought out 2 new singles in this period, Using Biology and Every Little Night. And Using Biology has this wonderful, fun, childlike sensibility to it. So do you think your daughter being around influenced writing that tune?
I did.
Yeah,
absolutely. Educational aspect, didn't it?
Yeah, well, it was kind of written during that first part of lockdown, and someone challenged us to write a song about using biology, and we had to kind of put it into a context. And I thought, why would I be singing about using biology? And if anyone listens to the song, will find out that it's set at a school open day where someone's daughter has to choose what subjects, and the biology teacher essentially comes along and says, this is why you should study biology, because we use it all the time, blah blah blah. So having Lola around at that time certainly put it in my head that'd be a good way to give an angle on the song. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I think it's just so lovely and relatable. In fact, I was watching the video today with my eldest son, who's 3.5, and he just went, I really like this music, Mummy. So you've got his vote.
Exactly.
I mean, the video is brilliant, isn't it? It goes with it. We didn't do the video.
But yeah, so if anyone's watching, check it out. It's on our website, Megson Music, blah, blah. You'll find that video.
Yeah, it's got incredible animation on it, but it's also, you know, we've talked about it being fun, educational and childlike, but, you know, as with many a Megson song, it's got this political heart to it, you know, talking about climate change and you know, renewable resources and climate future. So, you know, I'll know we've talked about it having this amazing cartoon video and all that kind of stuff. You know, it still absolutely has that Megson thing in the middle of it.
One of the reasons for its existence was to kind of increase awareness of exactly that. And there's companies that are in and charities and educational institutions that are in or based around the northeast of England, and they are replacing the industry that used to essentially pollute but create jobs, but it would also at the time would pollute the world, with ones that are now trying to kind of reverse that almost and create what they call a circular economy. Things just kind of get reused rather than getting creating extra waste. So that was one of the reasons for its existence.
It's totally awesome. And I think, you know, writing songs about stuff like that aren't necessarily, you know, they're important and they can be exciting, but they're not always, are they, when presented on the news? You know, how do you make this stuff palatable to people? And you've absolutely nailed it and made it so accessible. It's just a brilliant song. I really love it. So talk to me about Every Little Night, the most recent single that's come out.
Well, I guess you don't go through lockdown without having a song that kind of comes out about it, really, do you? So you know, it has been tough being separated from people and not being able to do what you really want to do and see those that are important to you. So I guess, you know, it's kind of come out of that, hasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we really miss doing shows like so many other musicians and all the people you see along the way as well. You know, so it's a bit of a message to them, you know, saying, yeah, we'll see you soon. You know, that's the night will end and the day will come again.
Please let the day come.
It will.
How are you finding online gigging?
It's weird, but it's been all right, hasn't it? What we were doing literally just before lockdown, we were doing some work with Cambridgeshire Music Service and going into schools and because we do this children's show as well. And so we were doing that, and it was before, a couple of days before lockdown. So the last one we were supposed to do, a load of schools were supposed to come to the junction in Cambridge and see us perform there. And none of the schools could bring their kids. So we had to do the gig, but stream it. So there was somebody there filming it. So that gave us our little taste, didn't it? The first taste of trying to do a gig just without any audience there at all, and bring that energy to it really as well.
And yeah, there was someone kind of manning in fact Zoom, I think, and manning it and getting messages from the children because they were watching it in their classrooms
in the schools, yeah,
and then relaying them back to us and we could respond. So that it was like this weird kind of taster of not that we knew about it at the time what was to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've done 4 Megson Facebook concerts so far. And they've worked really well. You know, I was really surprised. You know, we had the great audience and they've kind of interact, and we found a way of kind of managing to kind of do that and perform. I must say that the technical aspect of it took a long time to set up. But there's a Cambridge musician, Polly Polsma. I don't know if you ever come across her. And she's put up some videos that were really helpful in terms of setting up all the kind of back things. Yeah, that certainly helped a lot. And you, Lucy, you'll know what I'm like in terms of getting sounds absolutely spot on.
Yeah.
So there was about 3 days of getting the sound right to get the OBS software to feed into Facebook. And the problem, of course, is you can't hear what it sounds like until you send it and then wait for it to come back. So a sound check isn't a sound check in 1 minute. It takes an hour to get like 2 minutes worth of sound check. You should have seen. She wasn't in the best of moods.
My house. The amount of cables and equipment and lights in my living room is, yeah. I don't know how the dogs don't knock it over as they're running around chasing each other. Yeah.
Lola's tangled up there in all of the wires. That's such a great tip though, because it's really, really hard. And at least you've got technical skills to know what you're doing. Every time I've sort of tried and failed at the last hurdle and had to go live with sort of a less than great, sound setup. And it's just, we're learning whole new skills, aren't we? It's no longer enough to be a musician, a performer, a self-employed person with all the things that goes with running your business. You now actually have to be an engineer and social media guru. It's the only way forward. But I'm so pleased to hear that, the gigs have been going well for you. It's really nice, isn't it? I think that it feels to me like our audiences want us to know that they're excited for when the time comes again, right?
Really amazing, so supportive, and just and it's quite nice to be able to do these gigs and reach out to people who haven't been able to come along to a physical gig, or you might not be performing in their area. You can kind of reach out to everyone, which has been really nice, isn't it?
People all over the world. There's Megson fans all over the world, and we haven't played all over the world that much, to be honest.
Where's your most far-flung fan from that you can think of?
We've got Australia,
right? Singapore as well. So.
That are class fan locations. I'm into that. Right, I'm going to check my notes to see what we should go on to next. Okay, this so as we said, your first album came out in 2004, which means you've been not only a married couple, living, raising a child, doing all of that life stuff together, you've also been working together for a really long time. I imagine over the years your writing process and the way songs kind of bubble to the surface has grown and changed. I wondered if you'd discuss your writing process a little bit.
Well, it's different every song. And often we kind of base it, there'll be ideas that'll kind of hover away in the background, and then we'll have a plan to kind of put an album together or a project. And then you get a bit of a focus and things kind of accelerate up towards that point, so it kind of starts slowly, and then it's like, oh my God, we're going to have 10 new songs.
New album in a month's time. Yeah, but we need the songs quick.
Oh, we book the tour first, because that's the thing that takes the longest in advance, and then you've got to have the album to go with the tour. But every song's different, isn't it?
Yeah. There's certain ones where we'll sit down and completely do it together. Or there's ones where one of us will have bits and pieces of an idea, or Stu will come and play me an idea, and I go, on it.
Yeah.
Quality control.
We definitely have those. We'll sit down and we'll slowly work through a song, we'll build it up. But those songs work really well. And then, but I have lots of ideas, and so I'll also as well at the same time be kind of compiling loads of them, and then it will be a session where I'll play 7 ideas to Debs, and about one of them usually stays. It's and
then we'll work on that one.
And then we'll work on that one. That's kind of how it goes. So every song's different, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I often find, I think that Debs will, if I put an idea, we'll work on it. Debs will then go and find the bits that don't make sense. So many bits in what I'm writing just don't make sense. I assume too much of the listener, they just don't know what I mean by this. It doesn't really this is unclear, this needs to do this needs to do that. That doesn't make sense. Let's go rewrite, So that's probably a bit of a synopsis of the writing process.
Oh, it's just so interesting to hear. And it's really nice that you've ended on that note about clarity, because I think that's one of the things that I love about your music, and I I've stood in many a Megson audience, and you write such relatable songs and with such clarity. People can't often, they don't have to guess what it means, which means they can be completely immersed in this world or landscape or moment or story that you're trying to put them in, and it's just such a gift. So a bit of a random question. I think this one, it might be a bit hard, sorry. If you could choose, and you don't have to choose the same one, I'll let you have a choice each, right? If you could choose one Megson song to send into space for alien cultures to find, to represent your music as a whole, what would you pick?
I don't know. What do you think?
I like In a Box when we do that, just because I think when you know what you were saying just then, everyone can relate to that, about all of the memories we have over our lives and all of the things that kind of represent those memories. And I don't think anyone can listen to that song and not relate to it somehow. And it's always a really nice one to sing as well. You can really kind of get into the story with it, can't you? And just, one way you're watching the audience kind of as they kind of come in with you and throughout the song. And, you know, some of the moments are quite sad, some of them are quite funny. It's one of those ones, I think. Yeah, so I would pick that one.
There we go.
There you go.
Long Shot.
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah, I did just enjoy. I think I enjoy performing it. In that it tells a story. I look forward to the audience getting into that story. You know, as an audience member, I'm like that as well. I want to kind of. It's like, well, looking at performer, I'm thinking, take me on a journey, take me to a place. And I look forward to performing that song because I think it feels like it does. You know, I feel like you're taking the audience away. For a few moments.
Oh, two such great choices. I think your audience would be pleased with both of those. I was hoping that we'd get to talk about the Long Shot because, of course, that's just like iconic Megson number. And sorry,
that's definitely the fan favorite, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Well, understandably so. It's as you say, you know, well, both of those songs that you just mentioned, they are about storytelling as much as they're about music and beautifully shaped arrangements. It's just about you guys sharing a tale, isn't it? And that's just so endearing and wonderful for audiences. So sidestep now. If you had a superpower, what would it be?
I'm not very good at these questions. You very good at these questions.
I always think it'd be quite good to be able to see in the future, but then I don't think sometimes I'd like to know.
Maybe now's not a good time to see in the future.
No.
A bit of control the weather.
Oh.
Make it sunny all the time.
No. But depending on your mood, because depending on your mood, sometimes you want a sunny day. Sometimes you want a misty day. Sometimes you want snow. Sometimes you want wind. You want calm. You know, depending on what you're doing as well, the practical reasons. Controlling the weather. Oh God, that's a great superpower. I'm pleased I chose that.
Excellent. I'll see what I can order. That sounds great. If you could collaborate with any other musician or band, alive or dead, you're not restricted by time, who would it be? Oh, sorry, I've got a knock on the door, so you've got time to think about your answer.
Well, maybe while she's answering the door, I wonder who's at the door.
She could see the future, she'd know.
Yeah, you could collaborate with any. So it could be a jazz act or a classical group, or it could be well, we're two singers and we're two musicians, so it makes sense to have like a band, like Jacob Pastorius, famous bass player. So there's one that would make sense.
Simon and Garfunkel would be quite cool. Put in that harmony. Or Peter, Paul, Mary, Stu and Debs.
No, I think it would have to just be Paul from Peter, Paul and Mary to complete the lineup.
Well, it's be Stu, Debs and Paul.
Yeah, Stu, Debs and Paul. No, I think it's Paul is the answer, yeah. You can't have too many of them. The crowd, and Simon and Garfunkel would crowd what we do.
But I could just do with Simon and Garfunkel. You don't have to be involved.
That's true. What about like the something like the LSO as a lush, lush backing behind Megson track? I think that would work really well.
Yeah.
There. Decision's made. Lucy's still okay. While Lucy's doing that, I assumed it was still recording. So should we introduce our dogs to the camera? Because they're being a bit naughty.
Sorry.
Say hello.
Oh.
Hello, my name's Wizzy.
You can't just do these things to me, unsuspecting. Oh, hello.
These who we're going to collaborate with.
They
collaborate with us often when they bark during
unasked for collaboration. Yeah, they're particularly bad and noisy.
Oh, do they ruin many takes? Do you have to shut them out?
Yeah,
Actually.
they're worse than Moogles, aren't they?
Yeah.
I remember Moog's like heavy breathing mid-take, and you just have to stop and listen back and check whether it's going through the mic or not.
I've stopped trying to filter out these two. They're too loud. I mean, when the screaming barks, you can't have to, but they kind of do it. I don't know if you can hear it there. It's God on the records now.
So that's all part of the Megson experience, right?
Absolutely.
Cool. I'm just gonna ask you the question again to go back and edit it in without me running away, but we'll
footage while you went to the door, though, so you've got to use the footage while you went to the door.
All right, I just used the footage while I went to the door. I'll probably cut out the bit where I'm going like, my husband's taken the keys, wait for me.
We couldn't hear that, actually. We couldn't hear that. It's fine.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Okay, so I guess now's a good time to talk about what's coming up next for you guys.
Oh yeah, so
well, today we've been singing some Christmas songs, haven't we?
We have been singing some Christmas songs, yeah. As you do, we're planning a Christmas project that will be available on the internet. So we're not sure of every detail yet, but watch our website for exciting announcements. Yes, Christmas. That's good.
I'm so excited about that. I love Christmas. Oh my gosh, I can't wait.
And I don't know, we're kind of, it's hard to plan at the moment, isn't it? And so kind of think going to happen next year, and with, you know, a lot of dates have already been pulled from the beginning of next year. So yes, it's kind of trying to figure out what we'll do next year.
There'll be some new music. You know, there's plenty to write about at the moment. So there'll be some definitely some new music. And I'm not just doing just writing songs, but I'm also running a songwriting course on the interweb as well, and that's gone really well. So I've finished the second one now, and the next one will start in the middle of November. So again, check out Megson's website for details about that. It's a bit of a songwriting workshop as well as songwriting theory, like my takes on how I put songs together, tips, of course, and people share ideas. I give them homework, and we share kind of how we've done. It's really interesting to see everyone's different approach to writing, and how no matter the kind of how many songs you've written and your kind of level or whatever as a songwriter, everyone comes up against similar obstacles, you know, and how you overcome those kind of psychologically. Yeah, it's great fun. So people should check that out.
Oh, it sounds totally amazing. And having sort of had a bit of a experience like that with you, definitely on my first two records, you know, kind of coming in and shaping and supporting. Do you need that verse? Essentially, I think every song I wrote in the early days was about 15 minutes long. So without you, I probably wouldn't have a career at all. So people definitely should check out Stu's songwriting workshop. Sounds really fabulous, and make sure that they're following you on all of the usual channels to keep an eye on what's happening with Christmas and new music and all that kind of stuff. But thank you ever so much for your time today. It's been a pleasure to catch up with you and the dogs and hear what's happening. And you seem so well. You've brought so much positivity to my day. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Liz.
Bye.
Bye.